Hello, my name's Sophie and welcome back to my channel. I tried putting the mic on my jumper today, so I'm not sure what the audio quality is going to be like, but I hope it's okay. Today is the day that we're going to figure out what is going on my February TBR. So, the way that I make my monthly TBRs, I call them a functional TBR. Not that I don't think other people's TBRs aren't functional, it's just that mine has one. And basically I have a bunch of categories. I have a book for each category, and that's what makes up my monthly TBR. So the first category is the wedding book club that I have with my husband, because when we got married, we asked our guests to gift us a copy of their favourite book, and in an endeavour to read them all, we now click a spinner each month, and the spinner chooses what we read. Then I also have a book club with my sibling, and we choose together what we're going to read, so that one's less of a mystery. And then I have a section for new releases. I want to pick 2 books out of my 25 in 2025 TBR jar, and then I have a section for other, which I'll get to. So there are 3/4 books that I already know are going to be on my list, and then there are 3 books that we need to choose today. So starting with the wedding book club and the spinner. So what I thought I'd done is I thought I'd set up a spinner that I could come back to. And just, rather than having to redesign the spinner every month, but it doesn't appear to have saved. Now that alright, I've made a new spinner. We've got there. Let's actually start screen recording now. Record entire screen. Record. God, I've been going for 4 minutes. I've not even done anything. So, I've made a new spinner. I've put in all the titles of the books that I could read that are left in the wedding library. I've taken out things like children's books. We've got quite a few picture books, and there's a couple of series in there, so I've taken out any of the I've just left the first in the series on there. This makes me nervous now. So last month I ended up spinning quite a few times to get a book that wasn't too intimidating. I'm going to try and be more honest this month, so good luck to me and you. The spinner is going, and what we're getting is start of another series. Of course we are. The #1 Ladies Detective Agency by Alexander McCall Smith. Now, this is a book series I'd never heard of until we got it as a gift for the wedding, and then now I see it in every charity shop I go to. So it's clearly a very popular series. That's my wedding library pick for this month. It's officially in the spreadsheet. Then the next category on my spreadsheet is the book club I have with my sibling, and this month we are planning to read Her Majesty's Royal Coven by Juno Dawson, which is a book that basically the way that we're picking the books that we read is books that we both have in our collections, so hopefully it's not going to cost us too much money. This is the book for this month. I don't really know much about it. I know it's quite well received online, and it's A Secret Coven of Witches. It's a little bit long, it's 450 odd pages, so I may get the audiobook to support my tiny brain reading this, but yeah, that's what I'll be reading for my sibling book club in February, and I'm looking forward to it. Then, in terms of new releases, we have 2. The first one actually comes out at the end of January, but it comes out on January 28th, so I didn't want to put the pressure on myself to have to read that in the last 3 days of the month, so I've scooted it over to the February TBR, and that is Spiral by Val Cabra. I don't know anything about this book, really, other than I saw one of those graphics on Instagram that's like, here's a drawing of the couple and here are some of the tropes, and it looked like it had some really sweet tropes, and the female main character is a dancer, and as someone who is training to be a dance teacher, has spent most of her life in dance classes, I love stories about dancers, and that's all I needed to know. I also know that this is the second book in a series, so there's probably something I'm missing out on by not reading them in order. But the way I'm approaching it is that I really want to read this one because of the whole dancer thing. And if I love it that much, I can go back and buy Collide, which is the first book in the series. I'm very aware of that, but that is on my February TBR. And then the book that I pre-ordered that actually comes out in February is the new Ali Hazelwood release, and that is called Deep End. I believe it's a new adult college swimmer's romance. You know what? Every new thing that Ali Hazelwood tries, I've generally eaten up and absolutely adored. So I'm very, very excited to read this one. I believe this one comes out on the 4th of February, so still not a massive window between Spiral coming out and Deep End coming out, and I've still got quite a lot of reading to do for my January TBR, But either way, I'm excited. I cannot wait for a new Ali Hazelwood. Then, what are we on? That's 4 books. So now what we have to do is pick 2 more titles out of my 25 in 2025 jar. There are 23 titles left in this jar. And I picked out 2 at the same time. So I'm going to take that as a sign. Let's hope there's no more series, because I don't need any more series. The first one is actually a reread, and I don't know if you're going to be able to see it. There we go. The Perks of Being a Wallflower by Stephen Chbosky. I'm so excited about rereading this. This is a book I read and adored as a teenager. I love this book. This is my copy from when I was a teenager. It's quite battered, but it feels loved. And it's also relatively short, and I love picking out a book that's relatively short because it gives me more confidence in actually being able to achieve my monthly TBRs. So let's add that one to the spreadsheet. I feel I also need to explain, I do have some titles in my TBR jar, both my big complete one and this little one from my 25 and 2025. I do have titles that I've already read in there, but they're titles that I've generally read over a decade ago. So it's kind of a case of seeing whether I'm still interested in reading them and whether I still want to keep it in my collection. Because to be honest, whilst I do have a really big sentimental connection to The Perks of Being a Wallflower, if I reread it and find I really don't like it, I'm clearly running out of space anyway. So if there's anything I can cull, I'll take the opportunity. But yes, I do have some titles that I have already read in my TBR jar and counted towards my unread TBR because I want to double check. So they're on the list of books I need to read, so I might as well put them on my unread TBR. I hope that explains something. Anyway, the second book that I pulled out, it is the start of another series, but it's one that I'm very excited about. The Luminaries by Susan Dennard. The Luminaries by Susan Dennard, which has an absolutely stunning cover. It also, I think it's a trilogy, and I already own book 2, and I believe book 3 has just come out. So that's, as series go, it's not quite as intimidating as some of the other series I've inadvertently started this year. So The Luminaries is the last book I needed to choose to finish my February TBR. Let me just add it to the spreadsheet. With those books that I've just selected, we have 6 books on my TBR, and those are The Number One Ladies Detective Agency by Alexander McCall Smith, Her Majesty's Royal Coven by Juno Dawson, which I have in my hands so I can hold it up. Then we have Deep End by Ali Hazelwood, The Perks of Being a Wallflower by Stephen Chbosky, The Luminaries by Susan Dennard, Spiral by Bal Cabra, and then as a little bonus, last month from my 25 in 2025 TBR jar, I picked out the Maximum Ride series and I read book 1, and it took me to... I'll talk about it properly in my wrap-up, but I absolutely loved reading that series again. So I'm also tentatively adding book 2 to the end of my TBR. I'll definitely prioritise reading everything else first, but if I do get through those 6 books, I'm not sure how likely that is, I would like to read the second book in the Maximum Ride series, School's Out Forever, which is written by Jane Patterson. So those are 7 books. 6 on the core TBR, 1 bonus if I get time. I really didn't want this to be the year of starting new series. So far this year, I have started or restarted 3 new series, and we're not even a month in yet. But that's fine. It's all going to be okay. That's my February TBR. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you're having a great day. I hope you're reading a great book, and I'll see you next time for another bookish video. Bye!